It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
I am a rural mail carrier. I had a delivery of several packages to a church on my route. As I was listening loudly to the Bob and Tom show on International Women's Day, I pulled up to the door of the church where there's a group of elderly ladies waiting at the door for the church to be unlocked. I got out of my mail truck, left the door open, and you could hear the Bob and Tom show. Opened the back of my vehicle. Now, the doors in the back of it are open. I grabbed the packages to set near the door of the church. Right at that moment, radio blaring, door, gate wide open. Josh wished Christy a happy Women's Day and belted out, "Keep up the good work, bitches."
I knew it was coming.
The look on those ladies' faces.
Not understanding he was meant sarcastically.
The church.
Right.
Priceless.
Context is so important in that joke.
I almost peed my pants. Thanks for the laugh. That's Katie, the mail lady.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you.
I have one that's church related.
Okay, go ahead.
This is from Jeff. Have you ever seen a 4-year-old boy at Mass yell, "Boring"?
Yo, hilarious.
And then the sequel to that is, you ever seen a 4-year-old boy get a good old-fashioned spanking?
Well, let's be fair. How boring was the sermon that day?
You know it was.
And he said it was right after the homily, so that's exactly right.
It can get real boring in there, man. God,
Corey says, my cousins and I served as pallbearers for my grandmother's funeral.
Oh, Lord.
While carrying the casket to the hearse, one of my cousins tripped over a curb, and the head of the casket took a dramatic dip. It didn't open, but we heard a distinct thud come from us.
A distinct thud.
Yeah, they don't tie him down in there.
And here's Tom.
The deep voice. Ace Cosby. Here he is with his joke of the day.
Two cannibals. They're about to eat a man. The one cannibal says, "You started at one end, and I'll start at the other end." And about halfway through, the one cannibal says, "How's it going down there?" The other cannibal says, "I'm having a ball."
That was Ace Cosby's joke of the day.
You see, Chick.
Oh, boy.
The guy that
I'm
started
laughing.
at one end, he
People
got
can't see me. It's radio.
It's a testicle joke.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones might find himself on the next episode of Maury Povich.
Why is that?
On Thursday afternoon, a woman filed a lawsuit. Wait a minute, that's today. She filed a lawsuit claiming Jones had a relationship with her mom in the mid-'90s and that Jerry Jones is her biological father.
No kidding.
The woman claims her mother had a financial settlement with Jones to not publicly disclose that he was the father, but she feels that her mother's agreement does not apply to her.
I bet it doesn't.
Attorneys for Alexandra, welcome to Anybody Can Be a Lawyer with Josh Arnold. Josh, what do you think on this?
I don't know. Sounds legal to me.
There you go.
Yep.
Attorneys for Alexandra Davis filed the lawsuit in Dallas County, saying that Jones and her mother had a relationship in the mid-'90s from which she was conceived. According to court documents, Jones and Davis's mother, Cynthia, reached a settlement to financially support the mother, mama and baby, as long as they didn't publicly identify Jones as her father. Alexandra is asking the court to find that she isn't legally bound by the agreement between Jones and her mom, and our legal expert has weighed in.
Yeah, no, it sounds...
And she doesn't want to be sued or lose her financial trust. She's also seeking declaration from the court that such settlement agreements should be unenforceable in Texas.
Should have pulled out, Jerry.
And that Jerry Jones should get the chair. Well, that's weird.
Well, that's really...
Well, that's Texas for you. I'll tell you that. Hello, Bob and Tom Show.
Oh, yes, this is Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, Jerry, how's it going?
Well, as owner of the Dallas Cowboys, I'm guessing by now you've heard all about the fake news.
So,
You know, as owner of the Dallas Cowboys, much like Dr. Fauci, I prefer to follow the science. And just because this baby was born with hair plugs, I believe, isn't nearly enough evidence. Please let the party know I've got season tickets and a parking pass that used to belong to Wade Phillips. I'll be waiting by the phone in my hot tub that seats 12 except like that. Thanks for calling Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you, Jerry.
Hello, Bob and Tom Show.
Hey, Bob and Tom, it's Donnie Baker.
Donnie, how are you?
I'm good. I heard you guys talking about all that weird stuff that people have seen.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I got a whole bushel of them. Like, have you ever seen yourself pop a boil on your mom Phyllis's back so she don't miss her shift at Xanadu's? And then the pus accidentally squirts in your mouth?
Come
So,
on!
like, curb stop the Go-Gurt? I swear to God.
No, I've never seen that, Donnie.
It looked like I threw a dip in. I'm like you, Tom. I wear goggles now, like when you're frying bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you ever seen your Uncle Sonny with an O try to kill a rattler with a pocket knife? And when he goes and picks up the snake's severed head, it still bites him on the hand.
Oh, I've heard about that.
I swear to God. Oh, I'll give him credit. That's the first time in his life he's ever put down a 4-builder light just so he could suck the poison out himself. He's a legend after that. And I'll say it like this, nobody pulled more tail out of boonies neither.
Nice.
But then again, he could do the electric side noise, looks like Randall Tex Cobb. So, like he hit the Lord's lotto.
Ladies love that.
Hey, you ever seen your buddy Pat Porter dislodge a BB from his guts after you accidentally shoot him with his Crossman pellet gun?
No.
Oh, he got lucky because I was aiming for his crouch. Have you ever seen a chick inhale an entire banana without taking one bite?
No.
Yeah, Christian Mingle. I'll say it like this. Nobody was better than Angel Skinner's when it came to that.
Really?
She could do it, too. Well, the sexiest part was she'd hack back up the banana peel.
Wow.
Like a snake.
Oh, and it still had the Chiquita label stuck to it, mint condition.
Nice.
I know, man. Oh, and to this day, that was the best high school talent show I've ever seen. Hey, she may have not won first place, but she did start dating the school superintendent.
I have no doubt.
He also sort of looked like Randall Tex Cobb. I'm better running. I got to start stockpiling gas with these prices. I'm down to 3 hefty bags.
No,
Smart.
Don.
Well, now I need to do something too because my drummer Dusty tried to turn him over into a bong and burned off his eyebrow.
Okay.
We got a GoFundMe for him. I gotta go.
Have you ever seen your neighbor loading a big crate onto a snowmobile trailer and you go out to give him a hand? And they load it into the trailer and you say, hey, by the way, what's in the crate? And he tells you it's his father who passed away during the night. And he was taking him to the morgue.
Oh, my God.
That's from Jay in Wisconsin.
I've not seen that, Jay. Have any of you?
I have not seen it either.
How did he fit him in a crate?
Well, I would imagine it was
Casket-sized crate
It
lying
was
around?
probably a cask, I guess.
Wow.
Is that legal?
You can't fold them up.
Oh,
That would be desecrating. Or
Didn't we have a no-death rule in the Have You Ever Seen?
Well, here's a funeral. The funeral-related ones are my favorite.
Yes.
Because it's such a solemn moment, and when things happen that shouldn't, I find that dichotomy hilarious.
okay.
Always fun.
When my little girl was 4, says Eric, we were standing at a funeral in front of my deceased aunt. I was talking to my family, and my little girl handed me a can of Coke to open. Little did I know that she had dropped it.
Oh.
It exploded all over my dead aunt when I opened it. No. Literally, the Coke was running down her face.
What have you seen, ladies and gentlemen? Please tell us, won't you?
That's amazing.
Okay. We are
Water under the bed, Tom. Is that a saying?
It is a saying.
Under the waterbed, yeah.
water under the bridge. Right. Now, hey, Ace, I have a question for you.
Sure.
You've lived
Why are you the way you are?
So ready.
you've lived the bachelor life.
Of all the things he takes 20 minutes to answer, Ace, let me ask you a question. Yes, sir. I mean, he's right there. That's never happened before.
I pay attention.
Now, Ace, you have led the bachelor life ever since I've known you, some 40 years.
And I'd advise you to keep doing
and,
that.
you have a fiance. I'm not going that direction. I'm just curious. Did you, back in the day, as they say, and by that I mean late 70s, early 80s, did you have a water bed?
No. Never had one.
Okay. Now, Christy, you did have a waterbed.
I had a couple of them. I had the freeform one, and then I had the baffle. You know, where they have kind of. It looked like a mattress, but you put water in them. But they had baffles; they didn't slosh around as much.
Oh, I thought a baffle was you couldn't put it together.
No.
Really.
Mine ended up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I could remember the era in which apartment complexes would have a sign saying "No waterbeds on the second floor."
Sure.
But that fad has pretty much gone away, right?
Yeah, you can still buy them. After we talked about it the last time, yes.
But there was a time when, at the time, the emerging FM radio signal, a lot of the commercials were for
Waterbed warehouse.
Oh, yeah,
waterbeds
absolutely.
and stereos.
I didn't ever own a waterbed, but I was at a certain point forced to sleep on one, and I couldn't stop sweating. When I was
Did you have a conjugal visit on one?
No. Not in the...
Because it's my understanding that you'd have, all of a sudden there was like a defense.
Not in that sense.
You'd be trying to score that way.
Wait a minute. I know you play on the radio, and I know your life has changed a lot. But back in the day,
I have never been in a waterbed.
You've never been...
I
find that very hard to believe.
Nope, sorry.
Christy, are you implying that my dad was a little slutty back in the day?
Yeah, he kind of had some fun back in the day.
That isn't the issue. I wasn't implying that Ace was slutty either.
Is it possible?
I just thought that
He's implying that I was slutty.
No need to imply.
Is it possible that you could have slept in a waterbed and forgotten about it or didn't know it was a waterbed?
Yeah, a little boozed up maybe.
I honestly don't think I've ever been on one.
Okay, that's better than absolutely not. That's better.
I'll tell you,
Josh, did your parents own one?
Yes, because the neighbors across the street were getting rid of theirs, and my parents went, "We'll take it."
I loved mine, to be honest.
Did you ever get to sleep on it?
Yeah.
Is that where your mom and dad were when you called them from the police station?
Boy, I think it still was the waterbed at that point. Yeah. They were involved in one of the most intimate activities, and I had to call and interrupt. Yeah.
Oh, they were...
Yeah.
That's one of Josh's famous stories. He was being arrested, and he called his dad, and his dad would years later told him that when the phone rang...
he was in the saddle, so to speak.
Yes.
He wasn't in the saddle so much as he was...
he was at the trough.
Yes.
to extend the horse metaphor.
He was
and by the way, Josh's dad was a Vietnam combat veteran and a super badass.
Like a
so
champ.
I'm guessing hung like one as well. Boy, do we miss you, Larry.
Did your mom get a couple nays out of it?
Apparently what she said was, well, you're going to finish first, right?
Okay.
So that
Before we
runs
go
in the
pick up
family,
your
being
stuff.
thorough and generous then.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Good for you, buddy. That's nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Why'd you bring up a waterbed?
I was just thinking about stuff that's gone away in our culture, and I mean, you just don't hear about it much because coming up we have a story. I was actually trying to get into this story, but I realized that bloviating, such as it was for me, has led us to a point we don't have the time for it.
The worst part about owning a waterbed is if you were drunk on a waterbed. Oh my God!
Seasick.
Yeah, I threw up on my dog, remember?
I threw up on my dog.
Yeah,
was that the Afghan?
Afghan hound, yeah.
That's like throwing up on Farrah Fawcett's head.
Funniest dog to puke on.
Oh, man.
You know the dog's eating the vomit.
Oh, it was awful.
As Willie pointed out, that's got to be the worst dog to throw up on.
Oh, it is
An
the
Afghan.
worst.
Yeah.
Those are the worst dogs that even exist.
No, they're not.
They have weird pointy heads.
I had 3 of them. They were awesome.
Let's go after those fellas. They look
I
weird,
miss
don't they?
them. They're hard to find now.
Yeah, because they suck.
You know what I don't like?
Stop.
I don't like a greyhound. Those things look like aliens.
Oh, I love greyhounds.
Cute.
I
They're
can't.
good.
I want a greyhound so badly.
I get one.
Don't
Adopt
get it.
one.
They're so pointy. They're all angles.
They're real pointy.
I've come very close.
You know,
to
it's
adopting.
really pointy, chick. A pointer.
Yeah, those are pointy.
It's over there.
Did you hear Tom's idea of conversation? Christy said, I really want a greyhound. And Tom said, adopt one.
I happen to know someone who can do that.
Tom, there was a letter left on my desk here.
Oh, yeah?
I did not see
I haven't read it. It's handwritten, so it must be important and urgent.
Okay.
Dear Tom, good morning, Mr. Griswold, sir. Oh.
Okay.
I will need to have some time off to recover from the last 3 days of reading every Have you ever seen email our listeners have sent in. I require time off, much like Pat Godwin. This letter goes on to say, I can't unsee it. Only 10 to 15% of the emails that come in get read on the air for good reason.
Oh.
This leaves 85 to 90% of the emails unable to be read on the air.
Ooh.
PTSD is real, says the author. P.S. I send the worst ones to Dean, our producer, so he can read them as well. You're welcome, Mike, Mark, whatever.
Okay.
Oh, he's having nice.
We've been reading lots of great emails.
And apparently he sees all the disturbing ones. We are
Yeah.
Yeah, we only
not
get the ones
privy
that are
to.
sort of disturbing. Here's one.
Oh.
Ever been having drinks with your buddy when he says, "Hey, I got an idea"?
Oh, boy. Yes, I have.
We drive over to the cemetery. He walks directly over to his ex-mother-in-law's grave.
Oh, and urinates on her grave.
Worse.
Yep, these are
Are you
things.
kidding me?
No, it's
Why
right there.
in the world would you read
I bet that grass is a little greener than the others.
Yeah, I wasn't going to read it.
Man.
My hand was
That's
forced.
some
Watch the entire show live or on demand at bobandtom.com or listen live with the Bob and Tom app. And be sure to tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.